All right, so get this.
Okay.
Dario Amodei, he's the CEO of Anthropic,
Right.
thinks we could have AI that's as smart as us.
Like human level.
Yeah, in just a couple years.
Wow.
That's like right around the corner.
I know. It's crazy.
So we're diving into his interview on Lex Fridman's podcast today to try to figure out what that means.
Well, I think what's interesting is Amodei is not just like theorizing about this stuff.
Right.
Anthropic is building AI based on this idea.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're Claude models.
Yeah.
They're all about kind of pushing those boundaries of what AI can do.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's break down the actual science here for a second.
Yeah.
Amodei, he keeps talking about this scaling hypothesis.
Yeah.
More data, more computing power, smarter AI.
It's the core idea behind a lot of the recent progress.
Okay, but where's the proof?
Well, think about the language models that we've seen, even like just recently.
Yeah.
They've gone from like high school essay level to writing research papers that could like fool a PhD,
Yeah.
committee.
That's insane.
And that happened really fast.
Oh, really fast. So
Yeah.
it's not just hype.
I don't think so.
So Amodei really thinks by like 2026,
The 27.
27, we could have AI that can like think on par with us.
It's a serious prediction.
That's a lot to process.
It is.
Yeah,
And it raises a ton of questions.
definitely.
One of the biggest, I think, is even if we can do this, should we?
Right.
Like, what happens when something as powerful as, say, electricity,
Yeah.
but for intelligence, is concentrated in the hands of just a few?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts to feel a little,
Yeah.
I don't know, dystopian, right?
A little bit.
Like not even just the intentional misuse, but the accidents, the
Yeah.
unintended consequences.
Exactly.
What happens when AI makes decisions that we don't even understand?
Yeah, it's a huge concern.
Yeah.
And it's not just theoretical.
Yeah.
Amodei talks about how, like, even the experts often feel like they're working with a black box when it comes to AI.
So we don't even really know how it works.
We see what it does,
Yeah.
but the why is still a mystery.
So I think that's why Anthropic is so focused on this idea of mechanistic interpretability.
Right.
Right. Like being able to trace the thought process of an AI,
See the code.
see the code.
Yeah. That drives its decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to move away from just seeing the output
Right.
and actually understand how it got there.
Uh-huh.
One of their experiments, they have this AI called Golden Gate Claude.
Okay.
And they were able to get it to weave references to the Golden Gate Bridge
Okay.
into like totally different context.
Okay, so give me an example.
So like it could write a poem about the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
And then like analyze stock market trends
Okay.
using Golden Gate metaphors.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah, it's quirky.
Yeah.
But it shows how they're trying to make the AI's thinking more transparent, right? So we can catch potential problems
Yeah.
before they,
Before they blow up.
blow up.
Yeah. But this all assumes that AI can just keep getting smarter, though, right?
Right.
Like, is there even a limit to this scaling thing?
Whoa.
Could we hit a wall where, like, we just run out of data?
Yeah, Amodei himself
Of computing power.
admits that there are potential bottlenecks there.
Yeah.
He talks about the need for synthetic data,
Okay, what is that?
basically creating artificial data sets
Okay.
to train AI on
Okay.
when the real world doesn't have enough information.
So, like, training self-driving cars in virtual cities.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Before they hit the real roads.
Got it.
But even then, there's the issue of computational power.
Right, because these models
These massive models
are huge.
take insane amounts of processing,
Yeah.
and we don't have unlimited resources.
Right.
So it's forcing innovation
Yeah.
in algorithm design
Uh-huh.
and hardware architecture.
But it's a real challenge.
It's a huge challenge.
Speaking of pushing the limits,
Yeah.
Anthropic's Claude models seem to be their, like, flagship effort, right?
But really pushing the boundaries with those models.
Yeah, and each version just seems to get smarter,
Yeah.
more capable.
More capable.
It's like watching a kid grow up. But on fast forward.
On fast forward, yeah.
Yeah.
Cloud 3.5,
Yeah.
their latest version,
Yeah.
making huge strides in language processing,
Okay.
reasoning,
Uh-huh.
and even coding.
Coding.
Yeah.
Like, it's writing code now.
Yeah, it can generate code.
Whoa. That's both impressive and a little scary.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I think what's important is that Anthropic is laser focused on making sure each iteration is not just more powerful,
Right.
but more reliable and user-friendly.
So they're trying to do it responsibly.
They're walking the walk
Yeah.
when it comes to responsible AI development.
Which I think brings us to like the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
As AI gets closer to this AGI level, how do we make sure that it's safe?
Right.
Like, how do we even define safe in that context?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
So Anthropic has this system they call ASL,
Okay.
AI safety levels.
Okay.
Think of it as like a ranking system for AI's potential to cause harm.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're at like ASL 2,
Okay.
which means AI can do amazing things, but it can't like launch nukes on its own.
Okay, that's somewhat reassuring.
Yeah,
But what happens when we get to ASL 3?
right.
Like, that's where it could get like really dicey.
That's where Amodei gets really concerned,
Yeah.
especially about non-state actors.
So like individuals, not governments.
getting their hands on this stuff
Yeah.
and potentially misusing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that highlights the need for better security measures
Okay.
and like stricter controls over AI deployment.
So it's not just about making the AI itself like good.
Yeah.
It's also making sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
It's like a two-pronged approach to safety.
It is.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
That's a great question.
What are the concrete steps that they're taking?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting, I think. And that's what we need to dive into next.
All right, so stay tuned, folks.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
We'll pick it up there. So Anthropic's taking this idea of AI safety seriously.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to say it.
Right.
It's another to actually like do it right.
Exactly. Like, what are they actually doing
Yeah.
to make sure that this doesn't turn into some like sci-fi horror movie?
Right. Well, one of their core strategies
Okay.
is this thing called constitutional AI.
Constitutional AI.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
they're giving their AI models a set of guidelines, almost like a constitution for like ethical behavior.
So instead of just letting the AI learn whatever it wants
Right.
from all this data,
Yeah, from the data.
they're trying to like bake in some actual human values.
Exactly, human values and principles.
Okay.
And the way they do this is through this process
Okay.
called reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Reinforcement learning from human feedback.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But basically, they have humans
Okay.
evaluate the AI's responses
Okay.
and tell it whether it's like doing a good job.
Oh, so it's like training a dog,
Yeah.
but for AI.
Kind of, yeah.
That could reshape the world.
Exactly, yeah. The AI gets feedback
Okay.
and it learns to make judgments
Okay.
that align with
Yeah.
what humans want.
It's like we're trying to give it a moral compass,
Yeah, like a moral compass.
but without actually programming
Right.
every single scenario.
Exactly, because that would be impossible.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Anthropic knows
Yeah.
that they can't do this alone,
Right.
right? AI safety is too big of a problem.
Yeah.
That's why they're working with other AI leaders
Okay.
through organizations like the Partnership on AI.
So it's like an industry-wide effort.
It has to be.
Yeah.
AI is too big, too powerful for any one company to like control.
So everyone needs to be on the same page.
Yeah, we need to set some standards.
Okay, so that's like the big picture.
Yeah.
But what about right now?
Right.
Like, how is AI already changing things?
Yeah,
My people.
it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
From personalized medicine,
Okay.
helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier and more accurately,
Yeah.
to those customer service chatbots
The chatbots, yeah.
that are getting eerily good.
They're really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already changing the way we live and work.
And, I mean, the potential benefits are huge.
They're huge.
Amodei talks about how AI could help us solve some of humanity's, like, biggest challenges.
Absolutely, like climate change,
Yeah.
developing new medicines,
Personalized education.
personalized education.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
Yeah, the scale of the potential impact.
Yeah.
But we also have to acknowledge that there are risks.
Right, and I think Anthropic is
Yeah.
very upfront about that.
They are.
One of the biggest, I think, is just the potential for misuse.
Yeah, intentional or accidental.
Yeah, like, so it's not just about making sure the AI itself is good.
Right.
It's making sure it doesn't, like, end up in the wrong hands.
Exactly.
Or just go off the rails.
Yeah, or have unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why they're focused so much on security
Okay.
and these control mechanisms.
Okay.
They're investing a lot in this thing called red teaming.
Red teaming. Okay.
Basically, they have teams of experts who try to, like, break their AI systems,
Oh, wow.
find the weaknesses.
So they're like hackers?
Kind of, but for AI,
Okay.
they're trying to find all the vulnerabilities
Yeah.
so they can develop countermeasures.
So they're trying to anticipate
Yeah,
how it could go wrong.
exactly. Anticipate how AI could be misused
Yeah.
and then, like, block those avenues.
Yeah. Wow.
They're also working on ways to, like, monitor AI
Yeah.
in real time
Okay.
so they can intervene.
Like if something weird starts to happen.
Exactly, yeah, like an emergency brake
Oh,
for superintelligence.
that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Knowing they're taking those precautions.
It's important,
Yeah.
but it still feels like we're in uncharted territory here.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of the big challenges is figuring out what it even means for AI to be aligned
With human values.
with human values.
Because, like, whose values are we talking about?
Like whose values?
How do we even capture
Yeah.
the vast diversity of human experience?
Yeah, that's a huge question.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're trying to, like,
Yeah.
define what it means to be human
Yeah.
and then translate that
Into
into
code.
something AI can understand.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of, like, discussion and debate, refinement.
Yeah.
Anthropic is exploring this concept of a human preference model,
Human preference model.
which tries to capture,
Okay.
like, the shared values of humanity,
Okay.
but it's a work in progress.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like
Yeah.
we're scratching the surface here.
We are.
Yeah. There's a lot we don't know.
A lot we don't know.
A lot we're still figuring out.
Exactly.
But that's kind of what makes this so fascinating,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
We're on the cusp of something,
Right.
like truly revolutionary.
Yeah, but
But
we need to approach it carefully
Carefully.
and humbly,
Yeah.
you know,
With a healthy dose of caution.
a healthy dose of caution.
Yeah. I think what's clear is that Anthropic is really trying to do this right.
I think they are too.
Like, they're not just throwing tech at the wall and
Oh.
seeing what sticks.
They're thinking deeply about it.
They're thinking about the ethics.
The ethics,
They're engaging with the community.
engaging with the community,
Yeah.
and they're building safeguards
Yeah.
every step of the way.
So it's not just on them, though, right?
It's not just on them.
Like, or any one company.
It's on all of us
Yeah.
to be informed,
To be part of this conversation.
to engage in this conversation,
Yeah.
and to, like, decide what kind of future we want.
Okay, so let's bring back to our listener for a sec.
Sure.
What does all this AI stuff actually mean
Yeah, that's the question.
for, everyday people?
Well, Amodei believes that AI has the potential
Yeah.
to transform almost every aspect of our lives.
Okay, like what?
Okay, so imagine a world
Okay.
where AI tutors
Okay.
help every student
Yeah.
reach their full potential,
Okay.
regardless of their background.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or imagine AI-powered tools
Well, okay.
that help people with disabilities,
Right.
gain more independence.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the downsides.
Right, like job displacement.
Job displacement.
AI bias.
AI bias, yeah.
These are real concerns.
They're real concerns, and Anthropic's very open about those concerns.
Okay.
They're working on techniques for detecting and mitigating bias
Okay.
in these AI systems.
Okay.
And they're advocating for policies
Right.
to make sure it's used ethically.
Ethically and responsibly.
Ethically and responsibly.
So it's like a balancing act.
a total balancing act.
Yeah.
Maximizing the good,
Yeah.
minimizing the bad.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the potential, the risks, the ethics,
Yeah.
but there's this one big question we haven't really fully addressed.
Okay.
AGI,
The big one.
artificial general intelligence.
Yep.
The idea that AI is not just good at specific tasks,
Right.
but can actually think
Yeah.
like a human.
Learn like a human.
Yeah.
Solve problems across different domains.
Yeah, that's where things get
That's the big one.
really interesting.
It's the big one.
So buckle up, listeners.
Get ready.
We're going to explore
We're going deep.
the uncharted territory
That's right.
of AGI. Okay, so AGI,
The big one.
artificial general intelligence.
Right.
We've danced around it,
We've hinted at it.
but now it's time to really
OG.
go deep.
Yeah.
So we're talking about AI that's not just a tool,
It's not just a tool,
even a really good tool.
even a really sophisticated tool.
It's something more.
It's about intelligence itself.
Okay, so AGI,
Yeah.
we're talking about intelligence that's adaptable,
That can learn.
that can learn.
And solve problems across any domain,
Like we can.
just like a human can.
So it's not just playing chess.
No.
It's like writing novels.
Writing novels.
Writing experiments.
Debating philosophy.
The whole package.
The whole enchilada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like this is the kind of AI
This is these
that sparks like both excitement
and fear.
and a little bit of terror.
A little bit of existential dread.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
HAL 9000.
HAL 9000. This is Ava from Ex Machina.
Right. This is like the stuff of science fiction.
And it could become reality.
Potentially.
Okay, so
Yeah.
big question.
Yeah.
Is this even possible?
Right.
Or are we just like getting a little carried away with this whole
With the height
scaling hypothesis idea?
I mean, Amodei seems to think
Yeah.
it's more than possible.
Okay.
He thinks if the scaling hypothesis holds,
Yeah.
if we keep feeding AI more data,
Yeah.
more computing power,
Yeah.
it could just hit this tipping point
And just take off.
and just take off.
Okay, but didn't he also say that like there could be limits?
He did.
How much we can scale?
Yeah, he talked
Like
about
what if we run out of data
data,
or computing power?
computational resources.
Yeah.
He did, but he also offered some solutions,
Okay.
like synthetic data,
Okay.
creating these artificial worlds
Right.
for AI to learn in.
So
Could address the data bottleneck
okay, so it's like we're building these like fake worlds kind of. Yeah.
for AI to train in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the computation side,
Yeah.
that's driving like a ton of innovation
Okay.
in how we design algorithms
Okay.
and the hardware.
But it's a race then.
It's a race
Well, what-
between
The complexity of the
Fantastic.
AI and how much computing power.
yeah, how much power we can throw at it.
We can actually like give it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say, just for argument's sake,
Okay.
we do figure out AGI.
We crack it.
We crack it.
Yeah.
Now we're sharing the planet
Yeah.
with something that might be as smart as us
Or smarter.
or smarter.
That's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Kind of mind-blowing
Yeah.
to think about.
And I think that's why Amodei kept coming back to this idea.
Alignment.
Alignment, making sure that
Making sure that it's goals.
they actually are.
Goals.
Right.
Because if they're not,
If they're not,
that's when like the sci-fi horror stories
start to feel
start to feel a little too
ridiculous.
real. And it doesn't even have to be like malicious intent.
Right. It could just be a misunderstanding.
Right. It could just misinterpret our instructions.
Yeah.
Or like develop its own goals.
And things go sideways.
And things go sideways fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this alignment thing, it's not just like a nice to have.
It's crucial.
It's fundamental.
It's essential.
Yeah.
But how do we even like begin to align something
Right.
that might be able to outthink us?
Yeah. That's the question.
That's like the billion-dollar question.
The multi-billion-dollar question.
Right.
And there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthropic and other groups are exploring all sorts of approaches.
Like what?
So like building ethical constraints
Okay.
directly into the code,
Okay.
or trying to teach the AI to actually understand human values.
Well, what if,
What?
and this is like the scary thought.
Yeah. What if we just can't fully control it?
Right.
What if AGI just develops
In ways we can't predict.
in ways that we can't predict?
It's a scary thought,
Yeah.
and it's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
Amodei talks about the need for control mechanisms,
Okay.
like safeguards to monitor the AI,
Yeah.
to intervene if necessary,
Right.
maybe even to shut it down.
So it's like an off switch for super intelligence.
It's like an off switch.
But is that even possible?
I mean, can you really outsmart something
Yeah.
that's potentially smarter than you?
It seems like a tough one.
It's a daunting challenge,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Okay, so we've got this potential upside.
We do.
Like this whole world of problems AI could help us solve.
Yeah, huge potential.
But we've also got these existential risks,
Huge risks.
like these unknowns.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
What's the takeaway?
What's the takeaway for our listeners?
I think Amodei's stance is one of cautious optimism.
Okay.
He really believes that AGI could change the world for the better. Yeah. But we have to proceed carefully.
Carefully.
Right.
With a sense of
A lot of foresight.
foresight and like asking the tough questions now.
Asking the tough questions now.
Yeah.
So we can avoid the worst case scenarios later.
And it's not just on like the scientists and the engineers.
No, it's on all of us.
It's on everybody.
To be informed,
Inform.
to engage in this conversation.
Yeah, to be part of this.
To decide what kind of future we want.
Because the future of AI,
Especially AGI.
it's not set in stone.
It's being shaped right now
Yeah.
by the choices we make,
By the questions we asked.
the actions we take.
So, to our listeners,
Mhm.
as we wrap up this deep dive,
The big one?
we leave you with this.
What role will you play
What role will you play?
in the age of AI?
What are your hopes?
What are your fears?
What are you excited about?
What keeps you up at night?
Keep those questions in mind.
Keep the conversation going.
Because this is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.